What is in our solar system? The objects in our solar system are the Sun, planets, dwarf planets, asteroids, and comets. First, let's talk about the Sun. What is it? It is the center of our solar system. The Sun is a big sphere of heated gases. The gas that is in the highest supply is hydrogen, making up 70% of the Sun. Helium makes up about 28%, and carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen together make up just about 1.5% of the Sun. The last half of a percent is made up of neon, iron, silicon, magnesium, and sulfur. Despite popular belief, the Sun is not a big flaming sphere in the sky. In fact, it doesn't really burn at all. The energy from the Sun is created by a process called nuclear fusion. Here's a video to explain this process.
If we could open up the Sun, we'd see layers of dense hydrogen gas, hundreds of thousands of miles deep. And at its center, the core, the Sun gives birth to light. Forged in one of the most violent reactions in the universe, nuclear fusion.
The specific nuclear reaction that powers the Sun is fusion. Fusion of hydrogen into helium. You take two hydrogen atoms, you ram them together, and what's left over is a helium atom.
It sounds simple enough, but it's not.
It's actually hard to get two atoms to fuse. Two protons have the same charge. They're both positively charged. They want to repel each other.
Protons don't like to get close together. They have to come together with a huge amount of energy or velocity to get close enough to begin to fuse, and that's very, very rare.
To force protons together takes immense amounts of heat and pressure, generated by the invisible hand of gravity. The Sun contains 99.8% of all the matter in the solar system. That's a lot of mass. All that mass pulls the Sun together with unimaginable gravitational force.
But with gravity crushing things down, things get close enough together, and nuclear fusion happens.
In this nuclear compactor, hydrogen atoms slam together 100 million quadrillion times each second. Some of these collisions are so powerful that atoms fuse, releasing energy.
When the protons come together, to bind together, they lose a little bit of mass, and that mass gets converted into energy. And every second of every day, about 5 million tons of stuff is being converted to energy. It's amazing.
If the Sun is the center of our solar system, what surrounds it? The planets, for one thing. There are 8 of them. In order from closest to farthest, they are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Do you know which planet we live on? That's right. It's the Earth. Here's a fun fact. Mercury is the hottest planet because it is closest to the Sun. Right? Wrong. In truth, Venus is the hottest planet. Why is Venus hotter than Mercury? Well, it's the atmosphere. Venus has an atmosphere and Mercury does not. Venus's atmosphere is made up mostly of carbon dioxide with little nitrogen, creating a very thick atmosphere and not allowing much of the Sun's radiation to escape into space. How much hotter is Venus than Mercury? Mercury is about 800 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 430 degrees Celsius during the day, and drops to about negative 280 degrees Fahrenheit, or negative 170 degrees Celsius at night. Venus stays a toasty 864 degrees Fahrenheit or 462 degrees Celsius day and night. So, not only does it get hotter on Venus, it stays hot at night because the radiation from the sun cannot escape. To put that into perspective, here on Earth, the hottest is known to have gotten is around 136 degrees Fahrenheit or 58 degrees Celsius, and as cold as negative 128 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 89 degrees Celsius. What goes around the sun other than planets? Well, dwarf planets for one. These planets from closest to the sun to furthest are Ceres, Pluto, Makemake, Haumea, and Eris. Here you can see the size relation of the dwarf planets to the Moon. It was thought that Eris was bigger than Pluto, but we've now discovered that Pluto is just a little bit bigger than Eris. Aside from the Sun, planets, and dwarf planets, we have asteroids and comets. What is an asteroid? Well, it's a small, rocky metal object located in the asteroid belt, which is between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. What is a comet? Comets are made up of rock, ice, and dust, and located primarily in the Oort cloud and in the Kuiper belt. This is most commonly thought of as the outermost part of the solar system. Here I'm going to show you a simulation of our solar system. Now, I'm going to zoom in here real quick and show you Earth. I'm going to set the rotation of these planets to be about 1 second real time will represent a year. And you can see their planets are moving pretty quick. But if I zoom out, we can see that the planets on the outer orbits are moving much slower. How much slower? Well, let me show you. Earth has an orbit of about 365.25 days. In other words, our year is about 365 days. Neptune takes about 164.8 Earth years to make it around the Sun one time. The dwarf planets, the closest one, Ceres, takes about 4 years, 222 days to make it around the Sun in the time it takes the Earth to make it 1 year. And Eris takes about 557 years to do the same trip. Here you can see a representation of our entire solar system. Now this is only a representation because if I were to show you a 2-scale picture that is actual distances at these sizes, if you wanted to see the whole solar system, you wouldn't be able to see Mars, Earth, Venus, Mercury, and some of the other smaller objects because it's just too great of a distance. That's why you'll never see a 2-scale picture if you want to see everything. New discoveries are being made about space in our solar system all the time. We used to believe the Earth was the center of it and there were only 9 planets. We now know there is so much more out there and even more just waiting to be discovered. What do you think we will find next?